The relationship between the United States and China has long been one of the most important international relationships. It is a complex and nuanced relationship, with both countries seeking to maintain a balance between cooperation and competition. Recently, the relationship has become more strained, with the two nations engaging in trade wars and accusations of spying. The situation has raised concerns about the future of the relationship, and whether it may lead to a new Cold War. In this video, we will examine the US-China relationship, exploring its history, current issues, and possible future scenarios. We will look at the factors that are driving the current tensions, and discuss how the two nations can work together to maintain a peaceful and productive relationship. The relationship between the United States and China is undoubtedly one of the most significant and complex dynamics in today's global landscape. With both countries being economic powerhouses and possessing influential political and military capabilities, their interactions shape not only their respective nations but also have far-reaching implications for the rest of the world. Historically, the relationship between the US and China has experienced various phases, from cooperation to competition, and even moments of tension resembling a Cold War. Both countries have distinct political systems, ideologies, and national interests, which inevitably lead to conflicting priorities and objectives. Economically, China's rapid rise as a global manufacturing and trading hub has challenged the United States' long-standing economic dominance. From trade imbalances to intellectual property disputes, economic tensions have simmered between the two nations for years, leading to tariffs, sanctions, and retaliatory measures. Moreover, the US and China also find themselves at odds on various geopolitical issues, such as territorial disputes in the South China Sea, human rights concerns, and ideological clashes. These differences in values and approaches further complicate the already intricate relationship. However, it is essential to acknowledge that the US and China have also engaged in significant areas of cooperation. From climate change agreements to joint efforts in combating global pandemics, the two countries have recognized the need for collaboration on pressing global challenges that transcend their differences. Navigating this thin line between cooperation and a potential Cold War demands careful diplomacy, strategic decision-making, and a deep understanding of the complex dynamics at play. It is crucial for policymakers, scholars, and citizens alike to explore the multifaceted aspects of the US-China relationship to foster productive dialogue and seek common ground while managing areas of divergence. By gaining a comprehensive understanding of this complex dynamic, we can better comprehend the implications for global politics, economics, and security, and explore potential avenues for constructive engagement between these two global powers. To fully understand the complex dynamics of the US-China relationship, it is crucial to delve into its historical context. The relationship between these two global superpowers has evolved over time, traversing a spectrum that spans from cooperation to competition. In the early 1970s, under the leadership of President Richard Nixon, the United States embarked on a path of engagement with China. This move, driven by geopolitical considerations and the desire to counterbalance the Soviet Union, marked the beginning of a period of cooperation between the two nations. Diplomatic relations were established, trade ties were fostered, and cultural exchanges were encouraged, leading to a gradual thawing of the previously icy relationship. Over the following decades, China experienced rapid economic growth and emerged as a formidable global player. Its ascendance as the world's second-largest economy and its expanding influence in various regions sparked concerns within the United States. As China's economic and military power grew, so did the perception of it as a potential challenger to American dominance. This shift from cooperation to competition has been fueled by a range of factors. Trade imbalances, intellectual property disputes, human rights concerns, and territorial disputes in the South China Sea have all contributed to a more confrontational tone in the relationship. The United States has increasingly viewed China as a strategic rival, particularly as the Chinese government has pursued policies aimed at advancing its own interests and expanding its influence on the global stage. However, it is important to note that despite the growing competition, elements of cooperation still exist between the two nations. Areas such as climate change, global health, and non-proliferation have provided opportunities for collaboration and dialogue. Both countries have recognized the need to address shared challenges that transcend their differences. Navigating this thin line between cooperation and Cold War requires a nuanced understanding of the historical context and a commitment to constructive engagement. While competition is inevitable, it is crucial for both the United States and China to find common ground and work towards mutually beneficial solutions. The future of the U.S.-China relationship will depend on the ability of both nations to manage their differences while preserving areas of cooperation, ultimately shaping the global order for years to come. The economic interdependence between the United States and China is a complex and delicate balance that has evolved over the years. Both countries heavily rely on each other for trade and investment, creating a web of interconnectedness that affects not only their economies but also the global market. China has emerged as the world's largest manufacturer and exporter, while the United States remains the world's largest consumer market. This economic relationship has allowed for the exchange of goods, services, and capital, benefiting both countries in various ways. American consumers have access to affordable products, while Chinese manufacturers have a vast market for their goods. However, this interdependence also brings forth challenges and tensions. The United States has expressed concerns over China's alleged unfair trade practices, such as intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and subsidies to domestic industries. These issues have led to trade disputes and the imposition of tariffs, creating a strain on the economic relationship between the two countries. On the other hand, China's rapid economic growth and rising global influence have raised concerns in the United States, particularly regarding national security and the protection of American industries. The fear of losing technological dominance and the potential for economic espionage have fueled debates on how to strike a balance between cooperation and safeguarding national interests. Navigating this delicate balance requires careful diplomacy and strategic decision-making. Both countries have a shared interest in maintaining stable economic ties while addressing their respective concerns. Collaborative efforts, such as bilateral trade negotiations and the pursuit of fair and reciprocal trade practices, can help mitigate tensions and foster a more cooperative relationship. At the same time, it is crucial for both countries to recognize the importance of fair competition, protection of intellectual property rights, and a level playing field for businesses. Establishing mechanisms for dispute resolution and strengthening regulatory frameworks can help address these issues and build trust between the United States and China. Ultimately, the economic interdependence between the United States and China presents both opportunities and challenges. Finding a balance between cooperation and safeguarding national interests is crucial for maintaining a stable and mutually beneficial relationship in today's dynamic global landscape. Technological competition between the United States and China has become one of the defining aspects of their complex relationship. As both countries strive for global dominance, they are increasingly investing significant resources into research and development, innovation, and the advancement of cutting-edge technologies. In recent years, China has made remarkable progress in areas such as artificial intelligence, 5G telecommunications, quantum computing, and biotechnology. This rapid technological advancement has raised concerns in the United States, prompting fears of intellectual property theft, unfair trade practices, and national security risks. The U.S., on the other hand, has always been at the forefront of technological innovation. However, it now faces fierce competition from China, which is challenging its position as the global leader in various technology sectors. This competition has led to a race for supremacy, as both nations seek to gain an upper hand in shaping the future of technology. The implications of this technological competition extend far beyond economic and commercial interests. It has significant geopolitical and security implications as well. The control and influence over emerging technologies have the potential to shape the balance of power between the two countries and impact the global order. While technological competition can drive innovation and economic growth, it also poses risks. The race for dominance could lead to a fragmented and divided world, reminiscent of the Cold War era. It becomes crucial for both countries to find a delicate balance between cooperation and competition. Collaboration between the U.S. and China on technological advancements can yield significant benefits. Shared research, knowledge exchange, and joint projects can foster innovation and address global challenges like climate change, healthcare, and sustainable development. However, this cooperation must also be tempered with safeguards to protect intellectual property, ensure fair trade practices, and address national security concerns. Navigating this thin line between cooperation and Cold War in the technological realm requires strategic foresight and diplomatic finesse. Both countries must prioritize open communication, transparency, and mutual respect to establish a framework that promotes healthy competition while avoiding unnecessary conflict and division. Ultimately, the US-China technological competition will shape the future of global innovation and determine the trajectory of the world's technological landscape. By treading carefully and finding common ground, both nations can leverage their strengths, foster innovation, and work towards a more prosperous and stable future. As the relationship between the United States and China continues to evolve, one of the key factors that cannot be ignored is the issue of security concerns. Both countries have been engaged in a significant military buildup, which has raised eyebrows and fueled speculation about their intentions. China, in particular, has been rapidly modernizing its military capabilities, investing heavily in advanced weaponry, cyber warfare, and expanding its naval presence. This has led to concerns among neighboring countries and the United States about China's intentions and its potential to upset the regional balance of power. Furthermore, the South China Sea dispute has been a major flashpoint in the region. China's assertiveness in claiming territorial rights, building artificial islands, and deploying military assets in the area has heightened tensions with neighboring countries such as Vietnam, the Philippines, and Taiwan. The United States has also been involved in the dispute, conducting freedom of navigation operations to challenge China's claims and ensure the freedom of navigation in international waters. These security concerns have led some to draw comparisons between the current state of US-China relations and the Cold War era. While the world is not yet on the brink of a full-fledged conflict, the escalation of military activities and regional conflicts raises the stakes and highlights the need for careful navigation. Finding a balance between cooperation and deterrence becomes crucial in such a complex geopolitical landscape. Both countries need to engage in open and constructive dialogue to address their security concerns, build trust, and prevent any miscalculations that could lead to unintended consequences. Moreover, it is equally important for other countries in the region and the international community to play a constructive role in managing these security concerns. Encouraging peaceful resolutions, promoting transparency, and fostering multilateral cooperation can help reduce tensions and create an environment conducive to long-term stability and prosperity. The US-China relationship is undoubtedly at a critical juncture, where security concerns have the potential to shape the future trajectory of their interactions. Navigating this thin line between cooperation and a Cold War-like confrontation requires careful diplomacy, strategic thinking, and a shared commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the region and beyond. Diplomatic maneuvering plays a crucial role in navigating the thin line between cooperation and a Cold War in the US-China relationship. With significant differences in political systems, ideologies, and economic models, finding common ground can be challenging, yet essential for maintaining stability and fostering collaboration. One effective strategy in diplomatic maneuvering is through engaging in constructive dialogue and negotiation. Both countries must be willing to listen to each other's concerns, perspectives, and priorities. By seeking common interests and areas of cooperation, diplomats can build bridges and promote understanding. Another important aspect of diplomatic maneuvering is the art of compromise. Recognizing that both nations have their own set of national interests, compromises may need to be made to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes. This requires a delicate balance of assertiveness and flexibility, where concessions are made without compromising core principles and values. Furthermore, diplomatic channels should not be limited to high-level meetings between government officials. Engaging with various stakeholders, such as business leaders, academics, and civil society, can provide additional avenues for finding common ground. These diverse perspectives and expertise can contribute to creative solutions and foster people-to-people exchanges that ultimately strengthen bilateral ties. Moreover, a proactive approach to diplomacy is crucial. Anticipating potential areas of conflict and addressing them proactively can prevent escalation and promote a more stable relationship. Regular dialogue mechanisms, such as strategic dialogues and working groups, can help identify and address emerging issues before they become major sources of contention. Ultimately, diplomatic maneuvering requires nimbleness, patience, and a long-term vision. It is an ongoing process that necessitates adaptability and the ability to seize opportunities for cooperation whenever they arise. By consistently seeking common ground amidst differences, the US and China can navigate the thin line between cooperation and a Cold War, fostering a relationship that benefits both nations and the world at large. 7. The role of global institutions. Can they mitigate tensions? In the complex landscape of the US-China relationship, global institutions play a crucial role in mitigating tensions and fostering cooperation. These institutions, such as the United Nations, World Trade Organization, and World Bank, provide a platform for dialogue, negotiation, and the establishment of rules and norms that govern international interactions. One key function of global institutions is to provide a space for both the US and China to engage in multilateral discussions on various issues, ranging from trade and investment to climate change and security. Through these platforms, countries can express their concerns, voice their perspectives, and seek common ground. By bringing different stakeholders together, global institutions facilitate a collaborative approach to addressing shared challenges. Moreover, global institutions serve as a mechanism for dispute resolution and mediation. When conflicts arise between the US and China, these institutions provide a neutral space where both parties can present their cases, seek impartial judgment, and work towards a mutually acceptable resolution. This helps prevent escalations and potential conflicts from spiraling out of control. Despite their potential, global institutions face significant challenges in effectively mitigating tensions between the US and China. One major hurdle is the increasing polarization and strategic competition between the two countries. As the US and China vie for power and influence on the global stage, they may seek to undermine or bypass existing institutions, leading to a fragmentation of the international order. Additionally, the effectiveness of global institutions relies on the willingness of both the US and China to engage in meaningful cooperation. If either party chooses to prioritize unilateral actions or pursues a zero-sum approach, it can undermine the collaborative efforts within these institutions, making it harder to find common ground and resolve disputes. To navigate the thin line between cooperation and a potential Cold War, it is imperative for the US and China to reaffirm their commitment to global institutions and strengthen their role in shaping international norms and rules. This requires a willingness to compromise, engage in constructive dialogue, and recognize the importance of collective action in addressing global challenges. In conclusion, global institutions play a crucial role in mitigating tensions between the US and China. By providing a platform for dialogue, negotiation, and dispute resolution, these institutions offer a means to foster cooperation and prevent conflicts from escalating. However, their effectiveness relies on the commitment and engagement of both countries, as well as the broader international community, to uphold the principles of multilateralism and work towards shared goals. Navigating the complex relationship between the United States and China requires careful consideration and strategic planning. As tensions continue to rise, it is imperative to find ways to foster constructive engagement while treading the thin line between cooperation and a potential Cold War. One strategy for constructive engagement is maintaining open lines of communication. Regular dialogue and diplomatic exchanges can help establish common ground and foster understanding between the two nations. This can be achieved through high-level meetings, official visits, and diplomatic channels. Robust communication channels can help prevent misunderstandings and misinterpretations, thereby reducing the likelihood of escalation. Another approach is to focus on areas of mutual interest and cooperation. While the United States and China may have differing ideologies and strategic interests, there are undoubtedly areas where both nations can find common ground. Collaborating on issues such as climate change, global health crises, and economic stability can serve as a foundation for building trust and working together towards shared goals. Furthermore, engaging in multilateral institutions and frameworks can provide a platform for dialogue and cooperation. By involving other countries and international organizations, the United States and China can address their differences within a broader context. This approach promotes transparency and inclusivity, making it less likely for the relationship to devolve into a zero-sum game. Additionally, promoting people-to-people exchanges and cultural understanding can contribute to a more constructive relationship. Encouraging educational and cultural exchanges, fostering business partnerships, and facilitating tourism can help bridge the gap between the two nations' societies. By fostering personal connections and understanding, stereotypes and misconceptions can be broken down, creating a more conducive environment for cooperation. Ultimately, navigating the thin line between cooperation and a Cold War requires a delicate balance of diplomacy, pragmatism, and strategic foresight. By employing these strategies for constructive engagement, the United States and China can build a more stable and mutually beneficial relationship, fostering peace, prosperity, and global stability. The intricate dynamic between the United States and China has a profound impact on global stability and prosperity. As two of the world's largest economies, any fluctuations or tensions in their relationship can send shockwaves throughout the international community. Cooperation between the U.S. and China has the potential to foster economic growth, technological advancements, and address global challenges such as climate change, public health crises, and terrorism. Collaborative efforts on trade, investment, and diplomatic fronts can create a more interconnected and prosperous world. However, the delicate balance between cooperation and the possibility of a Cold War cannot be ignored. Rising geopolitical tensions, competition for resources and influence, and differing ideologies pose significant challenges to maintaining a stable relationship between these two global powerhouses. A deterioration in U.S.-China relations can have far-reaching consequences. Trade disputes, tariffs, and economic sanctions can disrupt global supply chains, impede economic growth, and undermine investor confidence. The ripple effects can be felt by businesses, consumers, and economies worldwide. Moreover, the impact extends beyond economics. The U.S.-China relationship has implications for security, human rights, and global governance. Rivalry in the military sphere, cybersecurity threats, and ideological clashes can destabilize regions and hinder efforts to address pressing global issues. Balancing the need for cooperation with assertive competition requires skillful diplomacy and a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved. Both countries must find common ground in areas of mutual interest to foster stability and advance shared goals. Efforts to manage the U.S.-China relationship must take into account the interests and concerns of other nations. The international community has a vested interest in a stable and cooperative relationship between these two influential powers, as it directly impacts the collective pursuit of peace, security, and prosperity. In conclusion, the U.S.-China relationship has far-reaching implications for global stability and prosperity. Striking a delicate balance between cooperation and the risk of a Cold War is crucial. Effective management of this relationship is vital for addressing global challenges, promoting economic growth, and ensuring a peaceful and prosperous future for all nations. In conclusion, the complex and ever-evolving relationship between the United States and China requires a strategic approach that emphasizes dialogue and a balanced perspective. As two global superpowers with contrasting ideologies and ambitions, it is crucial to recognize the importance of cooperation while acknowledging the potential risks of a Cold War-like scenario. Engaging in open and constructive dialogue is vital to address areas of disagreement, alleviate tensions, and seek common ground. Both countries should prioritize communication channels at various levels, from diplomatic negotiations to economic and cultural exchanges. This will foster a better understanding of each other's perspectives and promote mutual respect. A balanced approach is equally essential when dealing with contentious issues. It is necessary to find a middle ground that respects the interests and values of both nations. This requires careful consideration of each country's domestic concerns, such as human rights, national security, and economic stability. Striking a balance will foster a more harmonious relationship, reducing the likelihood of escalating conflicts. Moreover, it is crucial for other countries and international organizations to play a role in facilitating this dialogue and promoting a balanced approach. Encouraging multilateral cooperation and providing a platform for discussions can help mediate disputes and build trust between the United States and China. Ultimately, navigating the thin line between cooperation and a Cold War necessitates a commitment to diplomacy, open-mindedness, and a genuine desire for mutually beneficial outcomes. It is in the best interest of both nations, as well as the global community, to work towards a peaceful and constructive relationship that embraces cooperation while managing differences effectively. In conclusion, navigating the delicate balance between cooperation and conflict in the US-China relationship is a complex task. As the two largest economies in the world, their interactions have far-reaching implications for global stability and prosperity. While cooperation is essential for addressing shared challenges, the risk of descending into a new Cold War looms large. It is crucial for both nations to engage in open and constructive dialogue, finding common ground and resolving disputes through peaceful means. By maintaining a careful balance, fostering mutual understanding, and promoting collaboration, the US and China can forge a path towards a more cooperative and mutually beneficial relationship for the betterment of all.